Hi, I don't even know your name. Sorry.
My name is Monen.
How do you say that?
Monen.
Monen, very nice. I was just walking up near Montmartre. I think you are getting some customers. Should I stop it? Hi, I was just walking through Montmartre area. I'm just here for a few days, and I came past this really super cool vintage shop. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself and about the shop, how long it's been here, what do you think about vintage clothes, the future of it, because it's very popular, and also because something completely different, digital fashion as well.
First, my name is Monen. I've been living in Paris since I'm born. My father has a thrift store, so I've been into this since I'm a child. I'm working here since 2 years. The shop is Cinemachine. It's second-hand shop, so it's very nice. I love second-hand vintage. For me, it's really the future of fashion. I only wear second-hand clothes. It's very important for me, sustainability. And also, I'm owner of a vintage shop. It's like something I do only on events. It's pop-up store, and yeah.
What's your vintage pop-up shop called?
The name is Anemoya. The meaning of this is nostalgia of the time you never known.
Oh, cool. And do you have a particular era that you like 60s, 70s, 80s, or do you just like mix up all the different decades?
I would say it's 70s. Like I'm very into 70s. But unfortunately, they don't have that much plus size in the vintage clothes. It's very hard to find. So I would basically wear like 90s clothes more. But I really see the influence of 70s in the 90s fashion. So it's okay for me because I can find sometimes stuff that looks like 70s clothes.
Recently, I went to Marrakesh and I went to the Yves Saint Laurent museum. He's got a museum there, and a lot of his 70s, 60s collections was influenced by Morocco and all those colours. And then I went actually to his museum in Paris as well. All those prints are quite North African, like quite beautiful colours. Do you think that those kind of prints are gonna come back in?
Yeah, I think it's like kind of a hippie, bohem, chic vibes. Like you could see this definitely like in Paris or in the south of France a lot. But I would say we see this in like fast fashion shop because they redo everything. But you can find them in vintage clothes and it's beautiful. It's crazy. It's like silk clothes or stuff like this. It's very pretty.
Yeah, particularly with Yves Saint Laurent, he had a big focus on silk as a material. You probably know that. And yeah, we were just talking. There's this other, the other side of fashion which is growing because vintage has become super huge again, and secondhand clothes. But also this other side of fashion, digital fashion, and the metaverse. You may have heard this word, the metaverse. Where we're all going to have our sort of digital assets. How do you think that all fits in? Is it something that you're into? Or?
Bonjour.
Oh, it's fine. It's
fine.
My blog.
I would say, I don't know a lot about this, but I've heard a bit. I don't know if I'm into this. I'm not very interested in this because I'm very passionate of the clothes, the material, everything. So I like to touch the clothes. So for me, digital is just not the same. It's good maybe for a few photos for influencer. This is very nice because they don't have to buy too much to make content, which is very nice, I think. But I think it's like fashion people would not like this. It's more like for people who like to take photo with clothes and make a look instead of really wearing the clothes and having it for yourself. I think it's different.
That's really interesting because with vintage as well, you get a lot of unique pieces.
Yeah.
Like it's like a piece of art, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
You can appreciate it in lots of just by wearing it, you're appreciating fabric of that time. Sometimes it's handmade as well.
Yes.
All of this kind of stuff. And we were just talking that in Paris, this is like a real tourist area. How has it been through COVID and more recently?
It's been very chill for a while, I would say like for a year and a half. But since September, it's been crazy. A lot of people are coming back. I feel like everyone is doing weekends all over Europe, and it's very nice for us because we've been missing our clients a lot. And it's fine to see also people who come from other countries and coming back and saying, oh my God, we've missed you. We've been waiting 2 years to come back in the shop. So it's very cool.
The purpose of digital fashion, you were saying, is good for influencers. And what does that mean? It's more of like creating a look?
Yeah, for me it's creating a look. It could be nice, but also it's a bit weird because it goes on the same way to consuming a lot. So it's the thing of wanting to wear something different every day, which is not good. And even if it's digital, you just make people want to do the same as you. And maybe people don't have the money to buy digital clothes, which I don't know if it's expensive or not, I don't know. But I don't think it's that sustainable finally, because digital also can create, I don't know how to say this, pollution. Yeah, carbon waste, yeah, exactly.
And yeah, it does encourage a mindset that you can easily reproduce.
Yeah.
Which is not it stops being a different kind of craft in a way.
Yeah, it's not like, because I'm not for creating more stuff. I think we should reuse everything we have already. So, for example, in fashion, I like upcycling a brand or stuff like this. But I don't like people who create new stuff with new fabrics and everything like this.
I think so for something like only 8% of clothes goes into recycling.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 92% is in landfill.
Yeah, so that's crazy. That's completely crazy because when I go to buy my clothes from my shop, I go in warehouse where I see like tons and tons of clothes, and I'm just like, this is crazy because all those clothes, mostly it's modern clothes. It's Zara, H&M, stuff like this.
Right.
And there is just a few vintage clothes. So you can see that just since the end of 90s till now, we've been creating so much clothes. Like, it's just crazy. Like, so I don't think digital fashion is good because it would also maybe help brands like Zara or other brands to create more clothes. Yeah. And people would just buy them in the shop because they see it on Instagram or whatever social media and want to have the same thing.
Just a few more thoughts. It's quite interesting actually to see, you're from
yes, Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, and you've always, as you said, been into vintage. It's quite unusual to see a kind of a black lady, if that's how you identify as, in this part of fashion. Do you want to tell me a little bit more?
I think it's because my father is into vintage, so that is how I've learned this. And my mother also, so that's the part of myself who's from Ivory Coast. Her mother was a tailor, so she was always into like not buying stuff in shop. She would buy in thrift shop and maybe like upcycling it or just buy material and do her own clothes. So that is how I've always been into vintage, because my mother never went with me in like fast fashion shop. She would bring me to thrift shop or stuff like this. And also because she's someone who's not having a lot of money, so it's always been the best option for her to buy clothes. So that is how.
And in terms of just talking about racism, and have you faced any within the fashion world? Or, you know, we're talking about how fashion only very recently became quite woke about having more black faces in Vogue magazine and that kind of stuff.
I don't think I've been facing racism because I'm mixed, but definitely I don't trust the awakeness of people in fashion. I think people are still that racist. For me, it's not because you have a black woman in a cover magazine that now people are awake. Like, this is not true. It's so easy to just like have black models on advertisement or on runaway. Like, it doesn't mean anything, honestly. It doesn't mean anything. Like, you could see even in exhibition about fashion, you would see just the same black woman all the time. They're not really enjoying black beauty, because they would just put all those characteristics that they like to see, like very thin and tall women, and they think black women are all like this, but this is not true. They all have a lot of shape difference between like every country, and so this is how I think it's not true that.
So it's been more sort of. You can still see a lot of sizes.
Yeah, we see a lot more now, a lot more size, but also I don't really believe this is like awakeness. I think it's just they're moving with the time, so they do what people want to see, but they don't really want this to happen. Like, you could see on runway, if you see a plus size woman, she would just be like flat everywhere and have like the good shape where people want her to have a good shape, you know. So they don't really accept those people for real, which is very sad. So I think we should just see like every type of beauty and every type of body, so people will really start to enjoy all of the beauty in the world.
Thank you very much. It's a great thing to end.